Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and this is the final part of our 5-part series comparing and contrasting the various augmentations of the different classes of Spartans. We've already covered nerve, muscle, skeletal and eye augmentations, all linked below, and today we move on to the more vague other augmentations of the Spartan classes. These are augmentations that provide something unique or are more minor than the other augmentations that differentiate the respective classes. So let's dive in and find out the specifics before we give our final comparison. And let's continue to follow the trend we've so far set and start with the Spartan 2s. First, let's briefly talk about height, as all Spartans, no matter the class, are notably taller than average humans. The 2s gain their height from a hormone pellet they receive ahead of the main augmentations to bring on early puberty and boost their growth. The catalytic thyroid implant is a small platinum pellet implanted in the left thyroid gland, which contains a human growth hormone or HGH. This is implanted before all other augmentations, and its purpose is to release the growth hormone into the body to boost skeletal and muscle tissue growth. The hormone targets and stimulates the growth of fast and slow twitch muscle fibers, effectively producing significant gains in muscle mass, and also targets osteoblasts to help boost bone tissue formation and effectively strengthen the bone structure. This implant is offset by an already established comprehensive diet and physical exercise regime to fully facilitate the maximum effects of the human growth hormone, the consequence to which is the Spartans will grow significantly in height and in muscle mass, but also has a small percentage of side effects, where some and only some Spartans will experience a suppressed sexual drive. This is not to say that the Spartans lack the ability to procreate, but instead lack the natural innate drive to do so, and approximately 2% of the recipients to this augmentation experience elephantiasis. The 3s stepped things back a little, not having to implant a pellet into their thyroid glands. They were given human growth hormone as well as a cartilage, muscle and bone supplement added to their food over several months to artificially induce the onset of puberty. This is likely why the height and build of the Spartan 3s vary so much, as each person's own unique biology would respond differently to supplementation as opposed to focused administration of HGH into their thyroids. The Spartan 4s, however, went completely the other way. Since they were already fully grown consenting adults at the point of augmentation, utilizing their natural growth spurts during puberty simply couldn't happen. So, to give the 4s the added height, they underwent skeletal lengthening surgeries. The bones are lengthened, making the subjects several centimeters taller than they originally were, and the subject's ligaments are reconstructed. There is a surgery that currently exists called a height augmentation or limb lengthening surgery. This surgery is achieved by breaking the subject's bones and moving the break apart, then allowing the body to begin healing across the gap. Before it totally heals, the gap is increased again, causing the body to begin healing across the newly created gap. This is repeated up to a total distance of 3 inches. This is a very long and painful process, but with sufficient advancement in medical technology in the 26th century, the increase in height up to Spartan 4 levels is more than achievable. Now let's look at the neural interfaces of each Spartan class. The Spartan neural interface is an upgrade to the neural interface all UNSC personnel are given at enlistment. This is an interface that accesses the basic IFF friend or foe tags that come as standard, and a filament of semiconductors that interface to the cerebral cortex of the host. In addition to the standard functions of the neural interface, the Spartan neural interface is unique in that it is designed to allow an AI construct to directly interface with the Spartan's brain. Therefore, the AI resides both inside of the armor and inside of the wearer's mind. Essentially, it's in both places at once. The interface allows the AI to access most of Mjolnir's internal systems, though the Spartan has override control. The AI is capable of significantly improving the data transfer rate between the motor cortex of the Spartan and the suit's processing unit, further improving the Spartan's already lightning-quick reaction time. The Spartan 3s seemingly did not get a Spartan neural interface, and instead just used their standard issue neural interface given to them at enlistment. This is likely due to the fact that the threes were designed as budget throwaway soldiers to be sent on suicide missions, and their armour, being the semi-powered infiltration armour, had no requisite to be neurologically controlled via an invasive brain-computer interface, as was the case for Mjolnir. That being said, some of the Spartan 3s were reassigned before their respective suicide missions, and were outfitted with Mjolnir armour as a consequence, as was the case with the Spartans of Noble Team. In these cases only would the Spartans be upgraded and given the Spartan neural interface. The 4s, again being a class designed to almost exclusively wear the cheaper and more modular Gen 2 platform of Mjolnir, returned to needing a Spartan neural interface by default. They received the Torpet Data Cluster Spartan Neural Interface. The subject is given a specialized neural implant taking the form of the Torpet Data Cluster. This is functionally identical to the Spartan neural interface given to the earlier class. The neural lace implant data port is located at the base of the skull and extends deep into the midbrain via a connected data cluster that interfaces with numerous sections of the cerebral cortex, facilitating dual processing of the brain and neural control systems. This enables the Spartan the ability to interface with UNSC data systems and any friendly AIs hosted in their Mjolnir armor, or via the armor's wideband communications array. It also grants administrative capabilities over the armor, enabling contact to team members, command protocols, and activate the armor and weapons with a thought. This highly sophisticated brain-computer interface, or BCI, can likely be connected and linked to various peripheral devices not otherwise directly associated with Spartan operations and Mjolnir. And now for the unique augmentations for the different classes. The Spartan 2s received cardiac implants as evidenced by the obvious artificial weave of material seen in the aortic arteries of the heart during the Halo 4 teaser. And, based on observations of Spartan 2 performance, it is evident that they've also been given numerous genetic therapies and alterations that slow their aging process while also overhauling their healing factors to grant accelerated healing. I will hasten to add here though that it's not entirely impossible that these may be a subsequent augmentation from the later classes, if it was deemed they'd make the already exemplary Spartan 2's operational effectiveness even better. The Spartan 3s of Gamma Company specifically received an illegal augmentation, 00976200 neural altering non-carcinogenic mutagen alters key regions in the individual's frontal lobe to enhance aggressive response, making the animal part of the brain more accessible in times of stress. This allows the subject access to enormous reserves of strength and endurance, and enables them to remain fighting even under the influence of wide systemic shock that would be instantly fatal to a normal human. However, the side effects of this augmentation had to be offset by two other supporting augmentations, a bipolar integration drug and misoolanzapine, which counters some of the psychological effects of the primary augmentation. In addition to this, Gamma Company Spartans must also periodically administer smoothers, a cocktail of drugs that keep the Spartans stable. If they are not administered in time, as the smoothers wear off, the subject begins a cognitive decline, which includes nervousness, irritability, eventually followed by paranoia, fits of temper and physical outbursts, and eventually descent into psychosis, where they present a risk to themselves and others. The Spartan 4s received organ implantation, whereby virtually all organs in the body are either modified in some manner or replaced entirely. Several organs are biofabricated, including the lungs. The lungs implanted into the Spartan 4s are biofabricated and lined with a Stonewell pulmonary surfactant, a polymer that enhances oxygen intake and allows the subject to process airborne toxins or foreign gas mixtures. The pancreas is replaced by an apparently unnamed vat-grown organ. The Spartans also undergo treatments to prevent organ rejection. They're given gene therapies, hormone regulation therapies, an array of biomonitoring sensors, and receive an array of circulatory and metabolic improvements. These include the heart being implanted with a synthetic polythread weave which significantly increases its capacity to pump blood, which in fact may be the augmentation that we're witnessing in the Halo 4 trailer with the Master Chief. This may be an augmentation that the Chief and other Spartan 2s have received retroactively. The Spartan 4's blood composition is modified to allow for faster clotting and immunity to most toxins. Spartans are also subjected to K5.2 hemoescutcheon, and implanted with circulatory shunts and in telefibrin acclimation, likely aiding in the healing of wounds. Intestinal bacteria are altered to enable the digestive system to absorb more nutrients from food. An intestinal bioreactor is implanted, and the subject is given a gut microbiota refresh. The 4's augmentations here seem to be aimed at maintaining the other more primary augmentations and making them more capable of operating for longer periods of time. The illegal augmentations to the Spartan 3s of Gamma Company were done so by their commander, Kurt Trevelyan, who, following the near complete loss of both Alpha and Beta companies, wanted to give the Gammas at least a chance of surviving their own suicide mission, which, as it was, never came before Onyx fell. And the Spartan 2s, being the most accomplished of the Spartans, were likely given additional subsequent augmentation that would harmonise with their existing ones to keep them the best of the best and continue to give them the tactical edge. Again, I'd love to hear what, if any of these, you'd be interested in receiving, and then who knows, maybe we'll make a follow-up to this series looking at which of the 3 classes of augmentations are most popular and generating a unique augmentation set from those for an entirely theoretical super soldier program of our own design. And until next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Be sure to like the video if you did, and pop a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. I just want to take a moment to thank my patrons, Spartan10148, the Metarch of my facility, Falcon, Sophia, Mikhail, Ashley, Jordan and Esoteric Sight, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Legions Lost, Lab Rat, Spartan0137, Jacob Kemp, Sean, Element Zero, J3, Mr. Keys, Gunslinger, Evermore, Personal Devil, Aldeas, Toxic, Scion Esports, Gem, Saber and Relentless, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, my loyal enforcers, and all other patrons who continue to support the channel. If you want your name on the end of the video and some perks earned along the way, head over to Patreon and consider supporting the channel yourself. Big shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob Kemp, Talia, Fenrir, Bornstella, Jimbo and Balaz, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy, with a special mention to the Accursed Hunter. Shout out to John due to the mathematical formula used to determine the area within a pentadodecahedron. Oh, and Lena because that sandwich. And remember, there are tons of ways to support the channel and keep my installation pumping out content at a breakneck speed. Much love to you all, take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.